Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Saturday, February 28th, 2015, around 7:10 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. Sun's out, but it's cold, going to be in the 20s today, but a lot of sunshine tomorrow. Most of the day with sunshine, but then at night, some snowfall, which could be as much as 7 inches. Some places in Massachusetts have a winter storm watch. What else is new? Some news to report. The Boston Celtics beat the Charlotte Hornets by the score 106-98. The Celtics are closing in on an 8th playoff spot in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. And the Boston Bruins beat the New Jersey Devils by a score of 3-2 in overtime. 2 big points for the Bruins. They need these points. They need wins because Florida, Philadelphia, and Ottawa are chasing them for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference of the NHL. And the UMass Lower Riverhawks hockey team beat Vermont by a score of 4-1 last night at Songus Arena. The two big points fight by the Riverhawks. They need just one more point to clinch a first round bye in the Hockey East tournament, and they play at the Songus Arena tonight against Vermont. So one more point. That's about it on the news. My next subject is about Demolition, one of the most famous tag teams in WWE history. Demolition was Axe, Smash, and later Crush, and they dominated the tag team scene in WWE from January 1987 through the spring of 1991. And Demolition were basically the version of the Road Warriors for the WWE, because they wore face paint and dressed in leather and stuff like that. The story of Demolition was, back in the mid-80s, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, were the most dominant tag team in professional wrestling. They dominated AWA and NWA and other territories, and a couple of times around 1985 or 1986, the owner of the WWE, Vince McMahon, negotiated to bring Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, to the WWE, but Hawk and Animal wanted to guarantee contracts, plus in addition they wanted Paul Ellery, their manager, to come with the WWE, but Vince McMahon was not interested in Paul Ellery at all because he had too many managers in the WWE, and Hawk and Animal just balked at the idea, so Vince had to create a tag team similar to the Road Warriors. And in January of 1987, the Demolition made their debut on WWE TV. Axe was Bill Eadie, who was the Masked Superstar and one of the Machines and one of the Mongols. And Smash was Randy Cooley, who was known as Moondog Rex, and their manager was Luscious Johnny V, and they had a few matches on WWE TV, Superstars of Wrestling, but the crowd knew who Smash was, and they were chanting Moondog Rex, Moondog Rex, and they couldn't edit it out of that on television show. For a while, Demolition was put on the shelf while they decided to recast Crush, because Randy Cooley was going to be, they didn't want to say Moondog Rex, Moondog Rex. Bill Eadie, Axe, had it to suggested Vince McMahon some wrestlers who could play Smash, but Vince McMahon rejected because they'd be recognized, and finally he told him that they signed Barry Darsow, who was Crusher Khrushchev in the NWA, as Smash, and fans wouldn't recognize him because Crusher Khrushchev never wrestled in the WWE. And in the spring of 1987, Demolition came back on television, and they had a new manager, Mr. Fuji. Demolition wore face paint, and they had like the Jason-styled hockey mask, and they wore leather and stuff. And Demolition beat teams like the Islanders, the Caveman Connection, the Killer Bees, and they had awesome power moves. The devastating finishing maneuver was when Smash would grab the opponent over his knees, and Axe would come down with the axe and beat him 1, 2, 3. Even though Demolition were heels, they were getting big face pops from the crowd, very big face pops, and they continued to get a major push. At WrestleMania 4, Axe and Smash Demolition faced off against Strike Force, Tito Santana, Rick Martel for the WWE Tag Team titles. Axe and Smash beat Strikeforce, and they became WWE Tag Team Champions. And they had a very long reign with the titles of close to 16 months. And they defended their titles against the British Bulldogs, the Davey Boy Smith and Diamond Mike Kid, the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty DeJohnette, the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers, and a few other tag teams. And in the summer of 1988, the Powers of Pain, Warlord, and the Barbarian came to the WWE. They were a similar tag team like the Road Warriors and Demolition with face paint and stuff and power moves. And the Powers of Pain faced off against Demolition on house shows around this time, and Demolition was getting big face pops, and even though they were playing their heels, and the Powers of Pain were being booed right out of the building, and the WWE had to decide they were going to do a double switch, they were going to do a double turn, and at Survivor Series 1988, during a 10 tag team elimination match between 5 heel teams and 5 face teams, it ended up Demolition and the Conquistadors facing off against the Powers of Pain. Mr. Fuji turned on Demolition, causing him to be counted out. And then the Powers of Pain turned heel, and they got Mr. Fuji as their manager, beat the Conquistadors to survive. And then afterwards, Axe and Smash fought with Barbarian and Warlord, and they had to be broken up by the suits and the agents and the referees. And it's continued the feud between the Powers of Pain and Demolition throughout like late 1988 into early 1989. And WrestleMania 5, Demolition beat Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji wrestling, and Axe and Smash beat Fuji to retain the tag team titles. The face Demolition was getting big pops. Merchandise for the Demolition was selling like crazy and stuff. They continued to feud with teams like the Twin Towers, Akeem and the Big Boss Man, and the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. And in the summer of 1989, on Saturday night's main event, it was 2 out of 3 falls, Demolition against the Brainbusters, and the Brainbusters took the WWE Tag Team titles from Demolition with help from Andre the Giant. This ended the 16-month title reign of Demolition, which was the longest in WWE history. A couple of months later, the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, gave their notice to WWE. They were leaving to go back to WCW, and they had to drop the belts back to Demolition on an edition of WWE Superstars of Wrestling. Axe and Smash held the WWE titles for a second time for about 2 months, but then a new tag team, the Colossal Connection, Andre the Giant and Haku, feuded with Demolition. And on the last edition of WWE Superstars of Wrestling in 1989, the Colossal Connection beat Demolition for the WWE Tag Team titles. I think Andre the Giant beat Axe. I think Smash did not get legally tagged into the match. And then this continued to feud with Demolition and the Colossal Connection for a few months. And in WrestleMania 6, Demolition beat the Colossal Connection, Andre the Giant, and Haku to win the tag team titles for the 3rd time in the WWE. Andre the Giant was tied up on the ropes, and Axe and Smash delivered the finishing maneuver to Haku. 1, 2, 3. And then Demolition popularity was at the all-time high. But then this is around the time when Axe Bill Eadie suffered an allergic reaction to shellfish, and he had some heart problems, and Vince McMahon was very scared. And this is when Axe and Smash of Demolition was starting to feud with the Hart Foundations, and they were, teasing a heel turn by the Hart Foundation, but the Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. There was rumors I heard that they were, but the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart was going to get Jimmy Hart back as their manager. But when the thing with Axe having his heart problems, they had to scrap that idea, and they had to bring a 3rd member of Demolition in, Crush. And when you have 3 members of a tag team, there's no way you're going to be a face. That would not work as a face, so they had to turn Demolition heel. And the 3rd member of Demolition was Crush, who was played by Brian Adams, who worked in the Pacific Northwest territory. And Axe, Smash, and Crush work together as a tag team, and the fans at first, mixed reaction, but eventually they turned Demolition full-blown heel in the summer of 1990. It was Smash and Crush who were wrestling most of the matches. Axe was basically acting as a manager or the third man in when there were problems, and they feuded with the Rockers and the Hart Foundation. They attacked the Hart Foundation on an edition of Brother Love Show, which solidified Demolition's heel turn. And then at SummerSlam 1990, it was a Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart against Jim the Iron Von Neidhart, and Jim the Iron Von Neidhart against Demolition. 2 out of 3 falls for the WWE Tag Team titles. This is also around the time, summer of 1990, when the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal finally came to the WWE. I think they finally came because they had enough with WCW, and Paul Elliott, their manager, didn't come. Vince McMahon wasn't interested, and he kind of stepped aside because Hawk and Animal really wanted to go to the WWE. Hawk and Animal were like instant faces. You could not boo the Legion of Doom or the Road Warriors. They tried a couple of times in the past to be heels, but fans still cheered for them, so there was no way that Road Warriors or Legion of Doom was going to be faces. Heels, And at SummerSlam 90, it was the Hart Foundation beat Demolition for the WWE Tag Team titles 2 falls to 1, and Axe tried to interfere because they only should have 2 members of Demolition, but they would always switch when there was trouble. But then Legion of Doom caught the switch and attacked Demolition. Hart Foundation wins the WWE Tag Team titles, and Demolition started a feud with the Legion of Doom. The Legion of Doom recruit the WWE champion at the time, the Ultimate Warrior, and it was the Legion of Doom and the Ultimate Warrior against the Demolition all over the WWE house show stuff at that. But in October of 1990, Axe gives his notice to the WWE, Bill Eadie, that he's leaving. So they had write him out of a storyline in a tag team match between the Legion of Doom, the Orient Express, who was Kato and Tanaka, and Mr. Fuji, the Orient Express Ravagers, waves to somebody. It was Demolition, Axe, Smash and Crush, and all 5. It was a 5-on-2 with beating up on the Legion of Doom, and Demolition regained Mr. Fuji as a manager. The last time Axe wrestled in the WWE was Survivor Series 1990. It was the Perfect Team, Mr. Perfect and Axe, Smash and Crush against the Ultimate Warrior, the Texas Tornado, and the Legion of Doom. After that match, Axe was gone from the WWE. It was just Smash and Crush wrestling in the WWE, but they were being phased out, jobbed out to the Legion of Doom, the Rockers, even the Bushwhackers. Can you believe that? And also, this is when Bill Eadie wrestled on independent circuits as Axis the Demolisher, but Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, threatened legal suit against Bill Eadie because Axis the Demolisher was a similar face paint, wore similar outfits like Axe of Demolition, and Vince McMahon sent a cease and desist order to Bill Eadie saying you can't play a character who they own the trademark. Bill Eadie was pissed at Vince McMahon. He filed a lawsuit against him for the Demolition trademark rights. Bill Eadie lost that right, and he and Vince McMahon haven't been on speaking terms since. And Demolition, Smash and Crush, last match on the WWE was at WrestleMania 7. They lost to 2 Japanese wrestlers, Tenryu and Tanaka. And then Demolition was done as a tag team. Smash wrestled as Smash for a few months afterwards, but he was repackaged as the Repo Man. And Crush came back to the WWE in 1992, snazed the face paint as a Hawaiian strongman. And Demolition, is still one of the best tag teams in WWE history, winning the title 3 times. People would call them Road Warrior knockoffs or rip-offs, but they weren't really like the Road Warriors because the Road Warriors would run straight down to the ring a lot and attack the wrestlers. But it was the Demolition would walk slowly towards the ring and stuff like that, and they were real popular, Demolition, for a long time. Demolition will never go into the WWE Hall of Fame, period, because of too much animosity between Bill Eadie and Vince McMahon. It's more likely one of Vince McMahon's dogs will go into the WWE Hall of Fame before Demolition would. And that's about it on that. Be back later, Facebook friends, YouTube followers, demoltion, and Twitter with 2 more video blogs. One will be about the Downeaster Amtrak train from Boston to Brunswick, Maine, and the third and final video blog of the night will be about Patrick Ewing. And I'm doing new things with these video blogs. I'm doing them like I'm at a conference, but it's not. And have a good day, everybody. See you tonight.